but can we show our pants?
Your pants are more fun than mine. I got straight. You absolutely beat my pants.
Anywhere else in the world, if you're passionate and you start, the first thing you will experience is people worried about you getting involved and like raising so quickly. This does not exist in US.
Today, we're going to be talking more about small business technology, but wait, how branding plays into it. And we have an expert today, Nadia, the Mompreneur, who has been in the hospitality industry. And you also have, which I just learned, a computer science background. So technology is second nature for you. Thank you so much. And I love how you are such a powerhouse to onboarding women in the Web3 space. Please introduce yourself and share anything and everything you'd like.
Where do I start? First, thank you so much, Linda, for this opportunity and for also being a strong and an amazing person in the Web3 world that literally is facilitating things to anyone around you. My name is Nadia. I go with the Mompreneur in Web3. For those who are not familiar with Web3, it's just the newest version of the internet, and we get to choose a name that we can use instead of our real name, so that's why it's the Mompreneur. So I have been, like she mentioned, in the hospitality management before this for a decade. I got my master's degree, bachelor, and an MBA when I came here to the US, and I had internships all over the world, in Germany, in France, back home in Tunisia, and I managed boutique hotels in LA, Santa Monica, Beverly Hills, up until 2020. Since then, my career shifted to Web3. I have been enjoying it, and I can't wait to share more.
Let's get into some of the juicy bits about branding. Since this channel is dedicated to small business and small business mistakes, I would love to hear about your endeavors with a course you're creating for branding. When did you realize that women business owners, especially because you're from Tunisia, you have a group of women that you have been training? When did you see that they needed a little nudging to get going?
It started not now, back when I was in hospitality management. Branding is a big part of it. Hospitality is like literally built on branding. Even if it's the smallest hotel, they want to make it as an experience because the competition is so big. You're competing on about beds. It was something in me that was built when I was studying, when I was doing my internships. I see how it's literally from the second a guest steps in until they leave and come back. There is a whole system for them, for loyalty, for follow-ups, for everything that just makes the experience different from any other competitor or any other hotel. When I started in Web3, I noticed when I got in contact with a lot of women builders in both Web2 and Web3, there is a gap where we are maybe not really taught as, for example, like solopreneurs, especially my focus is women in business, to literally take in consideration all these things. Unless you have a mentor or you have a coach, we know that then that's what they will tell you. That's what you're building, and everything has to be intentional. And there are some processes that are not inevitable. You do them in the beginning or after, but you have to do them. I noticed that some women are so passionate about their actual work, what they do, but they don't have experience with sales and marketing and revenue management and branding and the website and the logo and being clear on even the mission to be able to share it easily with the people. But they are so good at what they're doing, either an artist or sometimes even a digital marketer, just because they can help people on the process, but they're not doing it for themselves. But they can find somebody who's ready because it is there, and they can then do the work. But for them, they don't have that focus on before you go to the people, to the public, please like touch up on these things. Make sure you have things that at least will make your journey easier and more professional than just doing it without relying on these parameters. I would say that any company has. I started doing this, and they're simple things. The reason why I need to do a course, it's because it's so easy to explain. Whenever I tell any woman about these things, they're like, yes, but I know I have the answer. I'm like, yes, it's because I know you have the answer and you can do this that I'm telling you. I wouldn't bring this up to you if I did not see that the potential is there to apply it right away, either to fix something, and they see the value right away. And I have been seeing results that way with my close friends, people I met, any woman that I meet that has a business. I would second, if not the first conversation, we will bring, okay, what you do. And if she is doing something on her own and building, like, I'll be like, okay, please, like, let's get, if you want just a buddy to brainstorm with, tell me what you do. Maybe I might need you for work. I have a company and I can use your services. And so it starts with, like a trust relationship, that in the process, before even starting thinking of the courses, I would just tell them, hey, this is, now we do this way, this tool. So they would do, and I'm like, okay, then they're open for it. It's not like they know and they don't want to do it. Maybe some people, they don't know about Linktree, they don't know about Calendly, they don't know about CRMs that are available there for everyone and they're free. They just don't know. For example, like, you are an amazing source for this, and you help me every time. I'm like, oh, for newsletters, there's this. And that's why you're so good at what you do. But I'm sure it took years. But some people, that's not their specialty anyway. So even finding the tool, it's hard to use it the first time. So they need somebody to tell them, hey, come, it's like this, it's so easy. Then fine. But now that is only happening with somebody you pay $5,000 a month, which is for a woman starting a business, a solopreneur, unless she has access to funds. But if it's a small business and you want to at least try the system on your own before going and spending, because you might spend and do it wrong, because there are so many things, there are so many options. You know how digital, it's newsletter, it's blogs, it's SMS, it's like, it's a website, it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagrams. It's sometimes not all of these. Sometimes it is. That's challenging for women who like own these small businesses to deal with.
I think business owners, part of the overwhelm is not only do you have to do the balance of working on the business and in the business, but part of the on the business is incorporating things you learned once you learn them. And it's a work in progress. You can't have everything buttoned up right away. I was just talking to somebody yesterday who, she's a business strategist and who specializes in niching down. And she said, don't even worry about that when you start. You can't. You have to get experience. In order to have experience, you kind of have to just do different things to learn what fits, what doesn't, what you love, what you don't. Part of the intro from either one of us didn't mention how you have created a company called Metahers, and you specialize not only in onboarding women into Web3, but also you live in the metaverse. You've created a meta world for women, and it's really dedicated not just to small business, but mainly for small business owners, I guess, to acclimate on how Web3 can be a part of their business infrastructure.
You're saying it right. So after being in Web3 and NFT world for some time, we had a bear market, which means everything is going down and it's not much fun anymore, where people are happy and making money. And I thought at that point I wanted to really explore something different, which was the metaverse. I'm not a stranger to this concept. I've been using the game Sims. Do you know it? It's called Sims. SIMS.
No.
This old game by the big entertainment company that makes like all these, so developed games of FIFA and all like the most used ones. And this is literally you build a house and then you have a family. So it's very interactive. You have people, like the family will grow, people will get older. They will, like, you can do the decor of the house. They go to work, they have missions. So it's like a life stimulation thing. When I've been hearing about the metaverse, I thought that it's something like that until I tried it. And I was like, wow, no, this is real, because these are real people. So it's not like the game where it's just, as any like virtual game on your phone. These are literally real people on a real time. And that's when I was like, okay, this is interesting. And I was just like meeting some women in the metaverse, specifically at Horizon Worlds, which is the one by Meta, by Mark Zuckerberg. And the experience was amazing because it just allows you to have any experience as close to the real life as possible while it's still digital. So that's why it's called the metaverse. It's literally a time in our life where our digital life matters more than our real life. And when you are in the metaverse, that's what happens. You are completely in a different environment and taken by this all immersive environment you're in, and engaging in the conversation or learning or building or working out or meditating. Yeah, and I kept digging deeper and deeper and deeper, and I founded metahers to literally translate the experience I had to make it easier. And I just go to where the interest of a woman is and just make the experience easier, instead of just going and discovering what do I like, what do I not. It's more when I know the woman, I know what they would be looking for. She would want to make a boutique, or she would want to go to the ice cream museum, or she wants to explore a game. And that's been a good thing for onboarding to the metaverse.
You have the Oculus. You've had one for a while. Do you have it with you now?
Always. It cannot be far from me more than there it is.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
So I wear this. These are the controllers, and this allows you, when you meet someone, to even feel like when you shake hands or when you hug or when you're throwing.
Really?
Yes, or when you're throwing. So it makes so first of all, it can measure power of your hits or of whatever action you're doing. And there's like a certain vibration that happens when, for example, you're in contact with someone, that it's it's like real.
But you have to have those rings, which I guess takes from the body heat or vibrations from us.
Mm-hmm. And even when you're working out, and let's say you're like hitting your targets, it tells you that, okay, it measures the power, like, oh, you're doing a good job, or no, you're too, like, try to make it
too soft.
So,
right?
Like the features are literally so advanced. Like, that's why people are so hooked to it, and it became this big thing at this time, because literally it is a full experience with minimal like glitches, I would say.
Is this your first Oculus, or have you gone through some other iterations?
No, this is the first one, but I was using the metaverse before even having an Oculus. That is one way. You don't have to invest in the Oculus right away, because metaverse is not just there. You can also have a metaverse experience on your phone or on a browser. That's what encouraged me to really go and invest in this and spend time. It's because I experienced it through the browser, through the phone, and I was like, okay, imagine if this is even more immersive, and that's better than just going straight to a virtual experience.
So when did you know you wanted to exercise your inner entrepreneur?
When I was studying hospitality management, all my classmates, they were all crazy about going to big brands hotels in Paris and London, and I was the one always looking for that small hotel on the corner. I am scared from I'm scared from someone limiting me to a position, because I know if you go to a big brand, if you will do a front desk job, that's it. They will give you literally like a checklist that you will have to go through during your work hours, and that's it. Yes, it would be amazing place, amazing people, guests, and everything, but as someone who is doing the actual work, it's very limiting. And I used to be always like in the top of my class, so I get this this first like offers for the best hotels, and I would decline, like, no, thank you. I found a hotel on my own. I would go and spend like 3 or 6 months in these small boutique hotels. There's one in Germany that I was going to for like 3 executive years. My role was not limited to a checklist or to a department. So I literally propose, or I can get involved in any of the operations or any of the management, as long as they know you will add value. And I'm confident on that part because I love it. It's something I was studying at the same time. So I was not afraid to literally ask for, okay, like, give me, what is the general manager, what is he doing? And this was like in my very first years. When I graduated with my MBA, within 2 years I attained the general manager position, and starting from front desk position. Because in US they said it doesn't matter what experience you have back home or in France or in Germany or anywhere. If you want a management position, you have to be ready to manage from day one. We will not train you. And in US, everything, the hospitality management honestly has a different approach than the rest of the world. I felt a little bit in the beginning like, oh, what do I do now? Like, I studied for 7 years. I was already like doing internships as manager. So now I would go and start all over and an entry level job. And I was totally at the same time okay for it. I'm like, this is an opportunity actually for me to see what's happening here and now. And I'm sure I will be maybe the best at it. I don't know if you have most of the viewers from US or outside, but I want to mention something, that in US, the work environment is completely different from any other country. I worked in Africa, and it is complete. That's why I chose to stay here, even though I could have been working with my dad in his business back home in Tunisia. But I wanted to work here because you see literally like people supporting you from day one. You see there is this mentorship and coaching and programs which are lacking outside of US. Like, unless you
Wow.
anywhere else in the world, if you're passionate and you start, the first thing you will experience is people worried about you getting involved and like raising so quickly. This does not exist in US.
Oh, so it's very competitive.
Yes,
elsewhere is what you're saying. Okay.
Exactly.
That's so interesting. I guess it's what everyone experiences differently. There's some levels of competition here as well in the US, but you've seen both sides. So that's very interesting.
I would say it's minimal here, and it's limited to what you expect. Then it is more of anywhere else on a daily struggle. When they saw the passion I have, the potential, everything, nobody was afraid of me. Like, even the managers were like telling me, oh, I think you have the potential to help with this, here, like, do this. And I was amazed because I thought that it will take me at least, I was in my head, it will take me 5 years to be general manager. But with that environment, and it was not just in a specific hotel, it was in every position, like every hotel I worked at, that's just the surrounding I had. So yeah, within 2 years I was able to be the general manager of a hotel and run it completely on my own, without having, like, from marketing to sales to the operations to reservations to taking reservations to putting it in the system to the tech part to the website, the CRM, everything. And I think that's why I loved it. It's because it has all these sides. It's not a boring job. Each day is completely different from the other day, and it's very dynamic. I feel like Web3 is so similar to it, that I think also owning your own business is so similar to this dynamic. So whenever I work, to answer your question, I really was always working with leaning on this entrepreneurship mindset. That's what gives me drive and confidence, because that's why I wanted, for example, to be the general manager, is to really test myself. If this as an expert was my own hotel, what can I do with it? And the results if they keep you for more than a month as a general manager, it means like the results are good. Because if the 1 month, like the numbers are not as expected, they bring somebody else right away. So it's been always that approach of, my sharing the passion of what I have with the other people who are around me, explaining, facilitating things, make them do their work easier, which will make mine easier. So it's not also limited to, like just myself. So I have this, I love people, and if it's around, especially something that I have like passion for, I can spend time to explain things, or even be there for even like personal things. And after, when my career stopped in hospitality back in 2020, I just carried, I think, all that, and I felt like I'm ready to do it on my own as a second nature, because I was doing it for big like hotels that are boutique. They're not, and like I don't work for branded, I work only in hotels where I would be able to do things different, and they will let you do it. That's why when I started in Web3, and even before Web3, like I did e-commerce, tried few things that were, to me so easy to set up and do, but honestly I did not find passion in it. I was like, this is not something I can wake up to every single day and be happy doing. I'm more towards experiences. It's more about me like seeing the joy or the pain or whatever in a situation and try to solve it, rather than just like the numbers and the systems. So that's what will drive me to do the other things, until I found Web3, and the experiences has been the onboarding like for women in Web3, in the metaverse, because it's like literally same thing. It's like someone stepping to my world, and it's new, they don't know anything about it, and I have to explain and make the experience different from if they did it on their own, or if it was with somebody else. So that's why my focus is on women who are in business. It's easier to do all these things. The women I meet, I see them having amazing, great potential, passionate about what they do when they talk about it. But when you tell her, okay, let me see the website, and then you see the rest of it, it does not align with literally how she is like passionately talking about it. But the biggest moment was when I was onboarding women to Web3. We have a group of about 25 women. And I noticed that I actually can help in the branding. So it makes the Web3 onboarding easier, because Web3 is all about onboarding more than anything. It's communities. Community is what? It's like a brand for, a group of people. So that's when I was like, okay, if I think the people who are, I would say, doing well in Web3 are the people who understand the branding, and they can also transfer it to their community. They can teach it. They understand that, they value it from the communities they belong to. That's why at some point, most of us spent like a crazy amount of monies just to join certain communities, and they were good choices and good decisions to make, because that, I'm sure, like for me, for example, those assumptions of branding in Web3 led most of them to the right decision, that yes, I needed to be in this, because they were doing branding right, that it spoke to me right away. And then when you go inside, you find that quality of people. So when we were doing the transition to Web3, I'm like, okay, maybe you don't need Web3 now. Let's do the Web2, polish everything. It's not something that you will have to do from scratch. It's easier that when you have actually a business, because you will be just taking and translate, like taking and literally defining these things. You don't have to, it's not a step where you will have to change anything most of the time. It's just literally making everything clearer to the consumer or to the client in the best way possible. And they were more welcoming to those like advices and like coaching more than Web3, because I see them applying it right away. Like she would go and update her website right away. She would go and update like her reels right away. So it's not something that they will just learn and don't know how to like
apply it. Yeah.
That's the thing. We will be always busy, and like you said, it's all about like investing our time in what will matter the most.
One of my questions too, though, is on the flip side, because I like hearing all the success. There's also the what didn't you expect, or what weren't you prepared for, that presents the challenges, which is how we learn, and turning the challenges into opportunities.
The challenges, I think, more personal, because I used to spend 9 hours in an office, have the schedule clear with everything, every day, every month, every week, every event is there. I think it's just losing those systems implemented by corporates, including putting us in an office for so long, where I had to do all that on my own, to be very disciplined and transition to be my own employer. We as humans, when we like, even though I'm so passionate about business and everything, I would say, I still until this day, maybe not doing the productivity I was giving in the hotels before, but I'm happier now. Having the discipline on your own. Imagine I used to only get 2 weeks a year vacation. I cannot have more than that. It's impossible. You cannot leave the hotel 2 weeks without like the general manager, and 2 weeks are the maximum. The thing is, in US it's the standard, it's very normal, but for
Yes.
us, like, I know I didn't see a reaction, and I'm like, does this sound normal to her? And then okay, so in Europe, in Africa, we have a month.
Wow. When I first started my corporate job, and it was 2 weeks, and I did build up after 9 years to 4 weeks. And that was a huge deal. When there's more structure, then the structure leads to a natural routine, and you have your managing of expectations of yourself, because you're bound to these rules by somebody else for someone else's company. And when I came back in the business, the family business, I was like, oh, well, I'm just going to take this. I'm going to take 4 days off. And then it was like little 5 days here and long weekend and then a week. And they were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I said, but wait, we own our own business. Like, let's take vacation. But there are some implications of owning your own business. You kind of are, your brain's 24/7, and you have to teach yourself to get that regimen. I think we're on the same page a little bit, but no, I did not react to 2 weeks.
Yeah, see, for example, like that, if you mention to anyone in Europe or in Africa and you say, we only have 2 weeks, what? Do you even live a life? Do you even have a life? Like that's not. So we get a month minimum that you already prepare in the beginning of the year. So you can put 2 weeks here, a week here, you can go on vacation, travel to other countries. But I get it also why. Like the US is because you can go on vacation within 2 hours drive. For us, it's 2 hours flight, for example, to go from Tunisia to France. So if you spend 4 days, it's like a road trip here. Like there are smaller countries that maybe it takes more time if you take a trip to go, or like to like just have fun or different, but here it's like smaller, that I don't know, you need less time, I think, to it takes me 24 hours just to take a flight back home, imagine.
So you're onboarding women into Web3, and you have the Oculus, and you're way ahead of a lot of us with living in the metaverse. How do you see this helping your business per se, because of the technology and the tools? And people confuse it with scams, but can we break it down? How have you embraced it?
So that's actually exactly my business, is to show a person who has all these assumptions. If I see the fit, if I see why, a good reason for a woman to learn this, then that's what metahers is about. It's to do that soft personal onboarding based on the questions you have, the personal experience. Maybe it's someone who was thinking it's all technology and they don't belong. So I can show that it's actually the numbers, the women who are there, the backgrounds. Some think that it's completely financial, and if they're not like in finance or not understand, then they don't belong. So the whole idea of or something. Web3 is just, or like NFT, it's just for the artists. That's why I did metahers. It's to have like a personal onboarding experience where you get to try all these things as they fit to your business or your lifestyle or what you are exactly looking for. It's been an immense pleasure and honor to be that connector for this woman, where she, like, within an hour, any woman in Web3, she can teach another woman within an hour so much value. If you own a business and you just talk to her for an hour and take notes, it's for things that we did not invent, but we're aware of. So just facilitating that, okay, imagine the restaurant, how some can be eating fish, some can be eating steaks, everyone can be eating like a different plate, but the best restaurant will have this very common, where a steakhouse or like a only seafood. By putting women in groups of women similar to them in the whole onboarding experience is what is now like driving me, and where my mind is. It's not just where, okay, I just joined this Web3 and I learn it. It's to stay with women who I feel comfortable, who can inspire me, who is like me, or who I want to become like her. Maybe for us in Web3, it's easy to find these communities, but for a new person, it's like you put someone in the airport and you don't know.
Exactly.
Maybe it's a bus that you need.
Yeah, this is such a great point. Part of the whole being inspired and opening your mind to the awareness of things that are possible. With our little channel here, we have moved from just Trevor and I having a podcast audio only channel, having video, just us talking about and rambling and bantering about mistakes we've seen and made. But now it's like I'm interviewing other people who understand that we all are trying to figure it out, and if we can figure it out together with people that understand, that want to learn, and that we're all together, not competing with one another, it's just so much more enjoyable, and we learn more. We learn more faster.
Exactly. And that's how we can outsmart the corporates. Any corporate has just these different departments and different teams, but when you're on your own, you can literally build your own structure with the people like around you in the same industry. With this mentality of Web, I've only seen this, in the digital era. Like I told you about my experience in hospitality, how everyone is in real life supporting and everything. So there in Web3, I'm astonished by this, exactly the same experience. I came into this even with zero experience. I understand the technology, I understand computer science, I understand AI, but like Web3, NFT, like everyone else, I was like, it took me so long. You tell me NFT, non-fungible token. Okay, but what the heck is it? In the blockchain, this, fine, but what do I do with it?
What is it?
Exactly. Oh, you buy it. Okay, I bought a lot.
Now what?
Until your brain at some point starts getting the whys and hows from the effort that you're doing trying to figure this out, with the help of all the people. Like all the women I met in Web3 are phenomenal. Like I did not feel like a stranger when I started, and you find so many other women who have stories that resonates with you, and you feel like she understands you more than your best friend, more than your sister. You would start with a discovery call just to get to know each other, and then you're like, okay, this is another version of this person, is on the same mission, has a vision, and the same even interests and what we love, and even in our personal lives. That's why IRL events in Web3 are so popular. That's when the human part takes over, and you're like, I want to meet these people because they helped me, because I was with them in this event, and this and this and this.
As overused as a couple of the terms are in Web3, community has always been a part of, for small business owners, it's always been a part of how we grow. That's why the Chamber of Commerce exists, or you have networking of various associations, because I've been doing that since in Web 1. And that's how we got together. That's how we communicated, with meeting one another and having events. To me, it's almost like a superpower that you can have a community, and we've never even seen each other in real life, right?
That's the thing. There is no single authority that's delivering or known for Web3 that everyone wants to belong to. Everyone is just trying, and it is now the time where everyone can have an equal share of that, popularity in being a trusted, like a trusted source in what you do. So I'm glad that we're like this time where things are made completely different. Everyone can be a Facebook, everyone can be Instagram. Like they all started with communities too. Like Mark Zuckerberg, it was a network for the people who were like the classmates. So that it was just because it was the first one, where it's images incorporated with text and messaging and everything. But now if you're good at something, or you love something, you have passion for it, you can start like with the same mindset, just building community around it and see how you can serve them. It doesn't have to be an app. That's
Right.
also the problem. Sometimes it's just a one-on-one call, or just hello, like I'm here if you need help with this or whatever you're good at. And that can bring so much like help for so many people all over the world.
I think that's also the opposite of what we mentioned earlier of with executing. The other hurdle, if you will, can be just starting something new. And because it is overwhelming and can be very intimidating, the learning curve, it's a steep slope. It's like, oh, I'm already busy with so many other things, and now I got to learn something new. Just starting bit by bit, it builds on itself. I could go on and talk to you for hours, but we cannot do that. So I would love to have you share, besides the banner with metahers.xyz, where else can people find you?
My Twitter, the Mompreneur.eth. And for any woman in business who's curious about Web3, even as a total newbie, would love to invite them to Geneva, to Coin Queens. That's, like I say, my digital home away from home. It's growing every day and making me so excited to see the connection with other women growing so organically, where the intention, it's nothing but on growth.
I'll have links in the show notes and in the video description, and you can find the course on your website.
So I have the 3 weeks in Web3 program, which is tailored for busy women working, or like moms, or who cannot find their way to join, or at least to know what it is about, because it's a very challenging like learning experience on your own. So translated that in a 3 weeks program with one-on-one sessions with me, and have 25 other women in the program, where we literally go through everything in Web3. So you go from like a newbie to someone comfortable talking, knowing what's NFT, having a metaverse space, building, and then we'll have even the ceremony at the end of the 3 weeks, like in a metaverse space. It's
Charming.
the beginning, the door, for every woman to then transition what she can in her business, to make it good fit, if they want to ever join Web3, in a way or of another. Either do you want to just create a community, or if you want to create tokens that you want to distribute to this community. So the literally like the limit is the sky with what you can do, and each one can literally use what's beneficial for her. And once we make that work, we can go to the other like steps.
And I love that it's international. You can be from anywhere and join this. So
yes. And I speak French. My native languages are French and Arabic. So it's also open for French speakers, Arabic speakers. I know the content is less in those languages. So I also do my one-on-one French. And
that's so cool. Well, thank you so much, Nadia, for being here and sharing your adventure.
Thank you. You're welcome. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Mwah, 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 mwah.
Thank
you in the Coin Queens Hive. Buzz, buzz.
Buzz, buzz.